not be available. This session is devoted to the country report on the recent discoveries, which is one of the main focus of this conference. And the country that we would be focusing on in this session is Bangladesh. May I call upon the two representatives of Bangladesh who will be presenting the paper, and there is a third representative from the Ministry of Culture Affairs of Bangladesh. The first presentation would be by Dr. Muhammad Ataur Rahman, who is the Deputy Director of the Department of Archaeology, and he would be discussing about the recently discovered archaeological sites of Buddhism in Bangladesh. It is an overview of various archaeological sites which are related to Buddhism, which have been discovered in the recent years. May I request Dr. Ataur Rahman to please come to the head table.
Thank you. SAARC International Conference on Archaeology of Buddhism, recent discoveries in South Asia. At first, I thank this chairperson, Mr. Dr. Sanjay Ghars, and Honorable Archaeologist. I start my article. Actually, in here I read abstract my article. South Asia, like Bangladesh, historical Bengal, hold a unique place in history of Indian Buddhism, at least for two reasons. Firstly, Bengal was the last stronghold of the Indian Buddhism, where it survived as a social cultural force unit in 12th century AD. Despite its appearance from other part of the subcontinent. Secondly, it is generally claimed that Bengal was the home of Tantric Buddhism. Tantric Buddhism was a later development of Bengal, and therefore it remained to be seen what specific factors are responsible for turning of pure form Buddhism into Tantricism, and however the mystic and the practice of Buddhism of South Asia, like Bangladesh, are of distinctly Bengali region. It is in association with the rule of emperors and kings and their support and sympathy for Buddhism at different period of time that the history of Indian Buddhism and hence of the Buddhism of Bangladesh should be seen. Actually, it is possible that Buddhism entered Bengal before Ashoka's time. Now, I saw some slide. Recently discovered archaeological sites of Buddhism in Bangladesh. These were the works produced and even in the Buddhist monasteries in this Deltic land. Most harmonious amongst them whose remains are known to us today, being Bhasho Bihar near Mahastangor in Bogura district, Sompur Bihar, Paharpur, Rajshahi district, now Nogal, Bhavadeva Vihar on Mainamati Hill in Samatato, now Kumilla district, and Bikrampur Vihar in now Dhaka district, south center of Bengal. Next. Masthangarh. The site is located about 20 km northwest of Bogra in North Bengal. The site represents an ancient city, 4th century BC to actually 12th century AD, called Punjab Nagar. It is roughly oblong in the shape and built by high rampart and with that bricks wall core of planks, and is entrance on all the sides there, the east where the river Kordoa were the flowing in the ancient time. Next. This is Mahasthan. It is the Jahazghat. Next. It is the gate of Tamrudwar. It is the very important gate. Next. Bhashavihar. Bhashavihar is the more important because in here, Huan Shang came here. Located about the 6 km west of Mahasthangarh, the village of Bhashavihar under Bihar Union of the Shivgans, Bogra district of. It's about 500 west and Nagor River. Their mound have been excavated here, and vessel parts of 2 monasteries and one in Bhashavihar, locally known as Narapati Dhap, is a complex 2 rectangular monasteries and a semi-cuneiform shrine of the post-Gupta period. Monastery 1 built of bricks set in mortar. This was the roughly rectangular in plan, measuring 148 inches north-south by the 139 meter east-west. 26 more the cells is measuring the roughly 11 by 10 meter, where the ends on the 4th side of square courtyard. Next. This is the Bhashavihar. Next. It is excavation. Then Shankura Vihar at Paharpur. The ruin of the Buddhist Vihar at Paharpur contained a Buddhist monastery dating from the late 18th century. It is located in Paharpur in the northeast of Bangladesh. It is said to be the second largest single Buddhist monastery south of Himalayas. It was made a World Heritage Site as a tribute to the Pal dynasty that ruled Bengal and Bihar for 3 or 4 centuries from the middle of 18th century. The monastery is built as a angle and the measuring 281 meter on east side. All outer 4 wings contain monastery cells, 177 in total. Next. It is Paharpur. Bhavadeva Vihar at Mainamati. Deva dynasty ruled in Somotato with the Deva as their capital. The dynasty is now known in Greater detail from the Mainamati excavation. So a number of their inscriptions, coins and sealing were known. The greatness of their rule was actually revealed through the excavation. That is, a rich archaeological remains recovered from the understand early level of Mainamati, 18th to 19th centuries AD. The archaeological remains of Mainamati mainly represent Devo period. It is Mainamati. Next, it also Mainamati. Then Bikrampur Bihar. Bikrampur Bihar near Dhaka district, south center of Bengal. The city bordered on the north on the Isamuti River, on the east and the Brahmaputra. A map of the interior of the given Bhattashali iconography plate number 10. It is a reference of book. Next, it is Bikrampur Bihar. There is no trace. Next, it is very important for everybody. It is the famous Bikor. You know the Srigan, Atis Dipankar. In here, he born in this year in Dhaka district. Next, excavation. Next, thank you.
Bagan in Myanmar, before it went under the influence of Sinhalese in the 12th century, had major impact from Pada. So, do you get any inscriptions or anything like that relating to connections with Bagan or with, precursor cities in Myanmar?
Please. You want to
Myanmar,
Burma.
First major.
In Bangladesh, in Mohastan, there are some inscription. Brahmilipi in now in Asiatic Society of India.
That's not right. Brahmi would be very early now. This is, say, just prior to the 12th century. Bagan, initial phase, it is said was influenced by Bharat, the kingdom, and that there was Burmese influence. So I am asking whether there is any inscriptional evidence, because there was cultural transactions there as well as later
with Myanmar.
Yeah.
I think in my research I am not finding it.
Any other questions or comments before I invite the next speaker? Well, thank you all for the very interesting paper, Dr. Rahman. I was expecting that if you could also include the years when these sites, very important sites, were excavated in your final paper, so that would help. And what were the key material evidence which were found there? So if you can, with each site, if you can summarize it, like what Dr. Sushanta was particularly interested in, whether there are any inscriptions or any material remains which can relate it to, say, Burma in this case, to Bagan, or to any other neighboring sites, maybe in India or elsewhere. So that is a very welcome suggestion, and if you can give the name of principal excavator, the year of excavation, and the major findings.
Yes, thank you.
So thank you very much once again, Dr. Atar Rahman, for bringing this new sites to our knowledge. Now may I request Dr. Muhammad Mukammal Hussain Bhuiya from the University of Jahangirnagar, Bangladesh, to present this paper on recent discoveries of Buddhist metal images from Mainamati. So, in fact, it is a continuation of Dr. Rahman's paper, what we were referring to the metal finds in this particular site. Thank you.
If you kindly allow me, I will sit over there and I will speak from that table.
You can take the hand.
My paper is on recent discoveries of Buddhist metal images from Mainamati, Bangladesh. You know that Mainamati is a very important site which very much related to the Buddhism. There are many sites found in Mainamati. Just a minute. Previous one. Here, this is the location map of Mainamati, a renowned Buddhist complex incorporating many monasteries and temples. People came to know about Mainamati during the Second World War, when construction of a road for the British Army was going, and bricks were being used for the road collected from some ancient mounds. Explorations and excavations have revealed many archaeological sites at Mainamati. It is, you can see here is Dhaka, and the capital of Bangladesh, and here is Mainamati. And it is about 107 kilometers from the capital city of Dhaka. I am going for the next slide. Yes. Here I am showing the distribution of the archaeological sites at Mainamati. It's showing 20 sites, except only a few. Most are belong to Buddhism. On the map, I have highlighted. You can see the highlighted number. I have highlighted the Shalgon Vihara in green, from which, in green color, from which all the miniature metal images of the present paper have been found. You can see the here. This is the satellite image of Shalgon Vihara taken from Google Earth. Here is the Shalgon Vihara. It's a big Buddhist monastery in Mainamati. Actually, it is the second largest Buddhist Vihara of Mainamati. The first one is Ananda Vihara, another Vihar. That is the largest in Mainamati, but second largest in Bangladesh. Yes, here I am introducing you some images of recent discoveries. Here is the figure of Padmapani Lokeshwar, a form of Bodhisattva Avalokiteshvara. The image is 8 cm high. This image is 8 cm high. He sits on a Padma and showing Garuda Mudra by the right hand and holding the stem of a Padma. He wears Chotomukoto and simple ornaments. His hair locks are gracefully shown on his shoulders. Here you can see his hair locks are distributed on both sides of his neck, on shoulders. The style could be compared with the colossal metal Vajrasattva and Avalokiteshvara discovered from Bhuja Vihara and Ananda Vihara respectively. I will show you later the discovery of the images, colossal images of Vajrasattva and Avalokiteshvara found from Bhuja Vihara and Ananda Vihara. However, here we can see the back of the image. This is the back photograph of the back of the image. Here is a seal. That is, you can see the seal here on top of the seal, which sacred Buddhist script is seen. It is a very common thing, usually found most of the images, on the back of the images, we find such seals with Buddhist creeds. This is the second images. Here the deity showing same gesture and posture as the previous one. I have just showed you. We can see the detail of his Giotto. Here is the detail of his Giotto. Detail of the Giotto on which a teeny figure of Amitabha. Here is the figure of Amitabha. If you give a closer look, you can see a teeny figure. This is the figure of Amitabha. The parental Buddha of the Bodhisattva Padmapani. The back top is stepped here. It is again stepped with Buddhist creed as well as the previous image. It is a common feature found in Buddhist images. The image is 8 cm high. Here is the two previous discovery, very interesting and very important discoveries of Bangladesh archaeology. Here is the Vajrasattva. This is a colossal image. It is about 3 meters high, and here is the Avalokiteshvara. It is also has the same height as the Vajrasattva, and I am showing you these figures because to compare the distribution of hair locks of the earlier images on both sides of the neck, on the shoulders of the images. It's a very common features of the Buddhist images, especially metal images found in Amainamati area. Here is another figure of Akshobhya. One of the Panchatathagatas is showing Bhusparsha Mudra. Here you can see he is showing Bhusparsha Mudra. We can see a hook on the back of the image for hanging. It is 6.5 centimeters high. Here the next slide. Here we can see two images. One is of Akshobhya, but the rest one's identification is uncertain for its fragile condition. The relatively bigger one, this one, is 5 centimeters, and the small one is 3.3 centimeters high. Here is the next slide. We can see a stupa in this slide. It is 15 centimeters high. It gives us idea on the shape of stupas of 8 to 9th centuries Bengal. In Bangladesh, there are some stupa is found in some archaeological sites, but unfortunately, the full shape of those stupas has not been recovered. But from this miniature stupa and some other stupa, you may know that the famous stupa found in Ashrafpur in Dhaka, a metal stupa, and it is another one found in a very good condition. So it gives us some glimpses on the shape and architecture of stupa of Bengal during early medieval period. From the Moinamati excavation, more than 100 oil-preserved miniature metal images have been recovered, but later two thefts had done serious loss for the treasure of miniature collection. In my previous research work, I have grouped miniature metal images of Moinamati in 6 categories depending on their styles. This new discovery fell in second category and would be dated as 9th to 10th century C. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Bhuya, for bringing this very interesting metallic figurines. And I was just sharing with Anand Singh that, well, in my limited knowledge, I haven't come across a metallic representation of a Buddhist stupa. I mean, we have found it in relief, we have found it in a stone, but this is something which is very peculiar to the Pala tradition of Bengal, where the metal craft was on a very high level of excellence. The floor is now open for any comments and questions. The volunteers can come up with Dr. Anand Singh in the front row.
First of all, congratulations for a wonderful paper. It's a good effort. Just I want to query, not a question, that you have just not classified date pattern, you have just said that this section belonged to 9th to 10th century. Just I want to know that, do you see any parallel that started taking shape in the early medieval age? That's a continuation of Buddhist monastic developments and branch art specifically in Pala age, right from Bodh Gaya to the core of the Bangladesh, and the two greatest monasteries lies in the one is Nanavati and second is Paharpur. Both have the evidence of the branch metals. So have you discovered or have you examined any parallel development of this branch making and development of Vajrayana school that started taking shape in whole Bengal area and South Bihar area? Have you any similarity or not?
Thank you, Dr. Anand. One thing I should make clear to you, because all the metal images found from northern part of Bengal, now in Bangladesh, they are very much related to Bihar. But the southeastern part of Bangladesh, that is Moinamoti, now situated in southeastern part. This southeastern part has many distinct characteristics that is different from the northern part and from Bihar as well. So it has some new features, new characteristics that is not really matched with the northern the images found from northern part of Bangladesh.
Say your name for our recording purpose, please.
Okay, my name is Diwakar Marsin, and I'm from Delhi City. My question to you is, I mean, there are sites which have yielded a lot of metal images from Bangladesh and also in modern day and Bihar Bengal regions. Now, Vatsali has worked on, Vatsali's work is very minor in the whole context. And now my question to you is, what was the source for those metal images? I mean, where you locate the exact mining areas, one, and second, do you have any epigraphic evidence to connect artisanal movement or the whole image production things? Like if you go to Nalanda or in the area like there are there are so many sites which are forgotten and yet to be discovered. There also we see like there's a sites in Gaya where you have lot of bronze images, exactly similar to the things which you have seen or found in other places. So I think there must be some kind of interaction between these sites. It apparently appears from the metal recoveries, metal artifacts which have been found. One more thing, there are, I would like to add one thing. There are metal stupas which have been excavated, and also from Nalanda we have. So metal stupa became one of the significant symbolic feature of that particular region, roughly from 9th to 12th century. My question is both the resource location and the epigraphic evidence. So,
thank you. In fact, your question, you want to know about the mining. You told about mining or something else. Inscriptions. You also want to correlate the inscriptional evidence with these images. Unfortunately, we have found many inscriptions in Bangladesh or in Bengal, but there is no direct information about the metal casting or metal images. We didn't find any connection.
Any information about artisans and those who were involved in production of those images?
No, unfortunately, there no evidence so far.
Any other question or comment? Yeah, Chandra Basu. Dr. Chandra Basu.
Yeah, I just had two questions. One is a clarification. You mentioned that in Moinamoti, most of the sites are Buddhist. What is the nature of the other sites? Do we know?
Yeah, there is only a few. For instance, now I can mention a site that is Charpotromula. That is belong to a temple, belong to Hinduism, and especially we assume that was belong to the worship of Shiva. That is a local name is called Loroho Chandra or something like this. Anyway, that is belong to Shiva temple. And
do we know if these were contemporaneous at the same time?
Yeah, same time. Probably that is the only Hindu temple or Hindu establishment in between the monasteries and temples of Buddhism.
And my second question is, can you tell us what the context of these images was? I mean, where were they found in situ? Were they installed in a particular monastic cell? No.
It was found from excavation, not in situ position.
Maybe we can have the last question from Ms. Bindu Uruguay from Sri Lanka.
My question is, I know there is a very small community of practicing Buddhists who had continued in Bangladesh, and I've seen some images through photographs of what they use at the moment. Is there a continuation with this community and the metal images you showed, or is it a different tradition?
Yeah, thank you. Yes, there are some practicing Buddhists, mainly in the southeastern parts, especially in Chittagong. They're practicing basically Hinayana, but they are not much related to the worship of images, especially. And now they actually they do not have any connection with these images or establishment. But if anybody wants to come and have a visit, they can do it. But they are not much interested.
Let that be the last question.
I have a question. I visited Chittagong and Dhaka about 10 years ago, and I was taken to a modern technology, right? Okay. And I was taken to I think there was this 8th century or 7th century person who established Buddhism in Tibet. You know, there were 2 flows, I think, one from Kashmir and the other one from the region of today's Bangladesh. I forgot his name.
Atisa.
Now, has the Atisa site been excavated? I remember going to a site which is in an urban place and shown the site, but has any other example of Atisha been excavated?
No, unfortunately, no site has yet been excavated related to Atish. Dr. Atul Rahman showed a photograph. That is just a place, birthplace of Atish. Just preserved the site more recently by the grant of the China government. So
Excellencies, esteemed ladies, gentlemen, scholars, and friends. We are already 20 minutes behind the schedule, so I think we'll be running our operations as swiftly as possible. So while the presenters are going to speak for about 10 to 15 minutes each, think of questions you are going to ask. So keep your mind alert, hook your thoughts to slender evidence presented by in each of the papers, and pose your questions briskly because we have to gallop. And also, we are waiting for the speaker number one, who is at the moment somewhere, I suppose in Colombo. So when he comes, will you give him great applause, because it will be great relief to have him launch his operations. So we are ready to kick off. I'm still waiting for the speaker number one. We are reshuffling. So the first speaker is Dr. Ngilima Dahia. Could you please comment? Thank you.
In the next 15 minutes, I would hurriedly be summing up my reflections on shifts in the status of Buddhism in Haryana, some reflections. So before I move to my main theme, I would like to talk about the geographical situation of Haryana, so that everybody would know where Haryana is situated. Haryana, one of the states of India, is located between latitude 30.30 north and longitude 74.60 east. It is bounded by state of Punjab in the northwest, state of Himachal Pradesh in northeast, and state of UP and national capital India, Delhi, in the east, and sandy tract of state of Rajasthan in south and southwest. The present state of Haryana constituted a major segment of Guru Janpat in ancient times. The scope of my presentation is going to be twofold. One, progressive shifts in the status of Buddhism in Haryana, and two, the degenerating shifts. Geographical expanse and popularity of Buddhism in Haryana during 6th century BC to 2nd century AD has not been smooth and linear. Journey has been dotted with various ups and downs. However, this period has been a period of advent and growth of Buddhism in the region. With the advent of Yodhyas and imperial Guptas during post-Kushana period started the degenerating shifts in the status of Buddhism and ultimately slipped into oblivion by 14th century. So through, I don't know, slides, somebody. So through slide, I have tried to capture the journey of Buddhism in Haryana from 6th century BC to 14th century AD. And the arrow marks some milestones. Second paper. I sent and I got the so they might be this time. It's not visible from this one. It's not visible. So some milestones I have pointed on this, and through upward, if it starts working, then I will let you know. Upward mark has been shown for growth, and downward is for, we can call it a period of stagnation, a period of slumber. You can count by annually. So, 6th century BC has been the period of advent and spread of Buddhism in Haryana. And in Buddhist literature, we have so many references from where we can infer that Buddha himself initiated the people into his faith here. And there are as many as around 15 places which has been mentioned in Buddhist literature of Gunjalpan. And out of those 15, around 11 places are located in Haryana, and Buddha himself visited those places and initiated people over there. Then next comes the period of 5th and 4th century BC, and this period, I have marked this period as a period of stagnation, or you can call a period of plateau or a period of slumber. So if we go by Hanson and Cortelia's description, it becomes very clear that it was a period of setback to Buddhism. Then the next period, 3rd century BC, it was again the period of progress and growth. Ashoka took multi-pronged measures to make Buddhism the religion of masses. He provided royal patronage, built schools, erected pillars, and he appointed Dharma Mahamantras to translate Buddhism into practice. So next comes the period of, again a period of stagnation, and that period we can call it a period of Shunga period and period of 2nd century BC. The Buddhist literature refers Pushyamitra Stool as the prosecutor of Buddhist archaeological references, they don't support this perception. And we do find some Buddhistic remains here and there in Haryana during this period also, though number is quite insignificant. For example, we do find in pillar in Hathi and Bhagas. These are the two places. It's near Gurgaon or in Gurgaon district. So from there we have found the remains of the pillar. Then comes the period of Kushan, 2nd century AD, and Buddhism again received added vigor and zeal during the period. They popularized the religion and provided a fresh impetus, as is evident from the recovery of variety of antiquities such as stupas, monasteries, sculptures, terracottas, seals and ceilings, etc. throughout the Haryana. In my full paper I have given all the details in that, along with the pictures of them. Then again, 4th, 5th century is AD, the period of stagnation, and during this period, Yodhyas and imperial Guptas, they came into power, and stagnation of Buddhism started somewhere. And again, there are so many factors, but basic factors are the Buddhism lost the royal patronage during this period, and revival of Puranic Hinduism. That is very, very important, because Puranic Hinduism, that emerged with a comparatively, I should say, human face, or it has a liberal face in that period. Then again, during 7th century AD, That was the period of Pushya-Bhutis, and during this period, especially Rajavardhan and Harshavardhan provided a fresh lease of life for quite some time, but couldn't check its decline. Liberal donations and alms to monasteries, convened Buddhist councils, and summoned the congregation of monks at interment, etc. There are so many other measures which Harshvardhan took to popularize the religion. But after 7th century onward, we see a continuous decline, and ultimately by 14th century, Buddhism slipped into oblivion. So I just try to highlight the phases of growth and stagnation, or you can call it a period of decline. And ultimately it died in 14th century. So now I'm trying to find out the reasons for that, the factors responsible for the growth and the decline of Buddhism in Haryana. The progressive and degenerating shifts in the status of Buddhism in Haryana could be better appreciated with reference to changing contemporary socio-economic scenario of the region. Haryana, because of its geography, served as a corridor to India. Right from ancient times, migrants, travelers, traders and invaders coming from northwest used this tract for entering India. The Aryans, a pastoral tribe, were first migrants to the region who subsequently established their settlements with farm and animal husbandry as their major profession. Over the passage of time, Haryana developed as a cradle of Vedic civilization and religion. The Vedic religion in the beginning was simple and as per the needs of the pastoral society. Gradually, the Aryans established their settlements and adopted agriculture and animal husbandry as their main profession. Now they started generating surplus and accumulating wealth. Brahmanas, monopolizing the religious affairs, added more complexities, rituals and expensive ceremonies to the system so as to extract maximum share from the surplus. No yajna would be completed without animal sacrifice and huge offerings. With the enhanced preoccupation with crop and animal husbandry, a vast section of Vedic society had hardly any time to perform long, complex and expensive yajnas and rituals. Likewise, with increased dependence on animal power, they could not afford the loss of their livestock. With the shift from pastoral to agriculture as a way of life, there was a need of flexibility in religious practices. The sticky Brahmins were not ready for that. Thus, the Vedic religion developed all sorts of inadequacies and failed to cater the needs of changed socio-economic scenario. The people looked for an alternative to satisfy their spiritual needs as well as needs of changed socio-economic conditions. As the people of the region came in contact with the teachings and preachings of Buddhism and Jainism, they were inclined to look at them as possible alternatives. Buddhism, right from the beginning, emphasized that the life on earth be protected. Buddhism repeatedly pleaded for harmonious and peaceful coexistence. So the Buddhist philosophy of non-violence, peaceful coexistence and mutually interdependence invoked positive response from the people. The growth of trade and trade-related practices, a major development on economic front, further exposed the limitations of the rigid social ideology of Vedic religion. Increased divisions of labor, surplus production and growth of crafts led to the growth of trade and trade practices. The Vedic religion considered trade as a baser profession. Contrary to it, Buddhism appreciated the role of trade and traders. According to Anguttara Nikaya, a successful trader ought to have three qualities: vision, shrewdness, and ability to inspire confidence. In this context, I would like to refer Ramla Thakur's observation that the new religion had more holistic understanding of the contemporary changes and reflected more sensitive response to the process of change. A religion's sensitivity to changes in social and economic scenario always enhances its acceptability. Another factor that contributed to the growth of religion is royal patronage. The growth of Buddhism in the region would therefore be to a large extent attributed to the royal patronage given by Mauryans, Kushans, and Pushyabuti kings. Now we will talk briefly about the degeneration. Numerous developments during 7th century not only adversely impacted the growth of Buddhism but also created conditions that led to the onset of its decline. A careful study of developments within the Buddhism on the one hand and changes in socio-economic scenario of the region on the other could provide clues to the factors responsible for the decline and ultimate disappearance. Over the time, Buddhism split into various sects and subsects carrying cold shoulders for each other. Some of these sects assimilated various elements of Vedic religion losing its own spirit, such as image worship, rituals, tantra, mantras, etc. The revival of Quranic Brahmanism with a liberal phase also speeded up the decline of Buddhism. I am not going into details how progressive shifts is Quranic religion had imbibed. Then Buddhism failed to meet the challenges posed by the emerging feudal society because the lifestyle, the morality, everything of feudal society that did not commensurate with the basic elements of Buddhistic philosophy. Again, likewise, the Buddhist philosophy of non-violence, harmony and peaceful coexistence did not match the expansionist ethos of the early medical rulers. The following three factors further weakened the base of Buddhism in the region. A. The loss of royal patronage. B. Frequent invasions of Arabs, Turks, Afghans that compelled the people of the region to leave the path of ahimsa and to take up arms as a survival strategy. C. The emergence of new religious movements such as Bhakti movement and Sufism with a mass appeal. By the end of 14th century, Buddhism, though totally vanished from the scene, yet its impact could still be seen on the agriculturist class of Haryana, irrespective of their caste and geographical affiliation. Till the recent past, their visits to temples and their faith in elaborate rituals have been very, very limited. They have been invariably vegetarian. It is interesting to note that because of labor-intensive nature of crop and animal husbandry, the agriculturist class has been working side by side with the people of lower caste. Because of this intermingling at the workplace, untouchability has not been a big issue with the agriculturists. And this liberal approach initiated by Buddhism has been kept alive for so long in Haryana by reformist movements such as Archaeology. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. I would like to invite...
I had so many slides and
Well, we'll see what was become possible in half an hour. I invite three questions from the floor. again from the left, please.
The left.
My left.
Over there. Yes, you said, yes.
Just asking one question that till date, historically, it is yet established that Buddha did not cross Veranj, that is place in Mathura. Till date, historically, it is established that Buddha himself personally did not cross Veranj. There is a place in Mathura. Despite heavy pressure, he did not cross even beyond Koshambi. And Kanchayan, when Udayan pressed him that he should come. So what is the source you are using? That is just, it's a news means that Buddha went to Haryana and preached there. What is the source basically which you are using?
Yeah, there's so many, in Buddhist literature.
Which one
I think Dipyanika is there. I've quoted so many sources in which, that's what I'm saying, stupas and archaeological evidence we don't have for that. But the accounts, that
there is no literary evidence in Pali that is saying that Buddha himself.
Majjhima Nikaya, and you please go through that. And
I have went many times, so there is no established.
I found there. I will let you know the details of that.
Thank you very much, Madam, please.
I would congratulate you for having this given us the entire history of Buddhism. But I was kind of wondering that when we are talking about the history of Buddhism, in some region like you are talking about in Haryana, or maybe you are taking into account entire India, should we not look into what royal patronage was for Buddhism and the masses? Because we have certain evidence, for instance, for Gupta period. I mean, we all know that, patronage of Buddhism was not so much directly during Gupta period. They went to for Brahminical things. But we see many schools of sculptures coming up, which were producing, take for instance Sarnath. Similarly, Shunga, you yourself referred to, but we have lots of monuments during Shunga period. So I think if we are talking about, such development of Buddhism, and if we take into account archaeological site material remains, as well as, some of these political inscriptional based evidence, we have to sort of sort out.
Actually, because of, I'm sorry to say, I got 15 minutes, I just touched upon, but in my full paper, I have, given all the details of archaeological findings.
Oh, but my specific question is whether you are relying more on, political patronage or patronage by masses?
Masses, of course, the rich people, of course, that royal patronage also had a role to play, but it did not die at that time because it was popular among masses also. So that's how I think.
You got a question?
Anybody else? My question corresponds with the gentleman's question, because you mentioned 11 sites in Haryana where apparently Buddha had gone. Could you mention one or two sites? The most important one, and what is still there, and again, what is the visible evidence where we can conclude that it was there?
That's what I was saying. It's a news for me, this person who told me, but I will talk to him later on about this. He says that there is no accounts, even Huan Sang has talked about all the Shrungna. Shrungna is a soup, it's near Yamuna. Even Huan Sang has talked about that, and there is Rohitika, that means Rohata. Yeah. So, there are all around, about I talked Rohitika, Thulo, Kothina, Gama. That is also in Ambala district, but I identified. Kamas Dhama, Kamaspur, it's near Sonipat, district Sonipat.
Thank you very much, friends. I would like to now invite Dr. Tripathi, who is going to talk about the heritage of Gujarat.
Respected Chairperson, Professor Vijay, distinguished delegates. Myself, Dr. Atul Tripathi, I am Associate Professor in the Department of History of Art, Banasam University. My topic is the Buddhist heritage of Gujarat in the context of recent findings and Vardhnagar. Vardhnagar is a place place in North Gujarat that is unearthed, which has this continuous history of more than 2 million years, more than 2200 years. This place is mentioned by various names during the course of its history, which I will mention later on. It got important place in Henson's account, mentioned as Onam to Ulo. This, what the thing I said will be this place happens to be the present Chief Minister's native place, and because of his personal initiative, this archaeological site was explored and excavated. There are 2 reasons for the present exploration, which I will show the slides. Number 2, for investment purpose, to influence the Buddhist countries, especially Japan and Korea. Besides other things, my aim of this paper is to present before you that there is enough scope in going through the itinerary of Henson and following the footsteps of Sir Alexander Cunningham to explore the Buddhist sites, which this particular is. Mentions about a Pattavai Sreni, which
I'm very much mentioned.
Which migrated from.
Listen me first.
Yeah.
I'm just asking. I'm very much aware for that. So it's issued in the age of Colombo, Pattavai Sreni, and they are basically sun worshippers, and they lie in Madhya Pradesh.
Yeah.
You are quoting it's in Gujarat.
Sit down. You have no knowledge about that. The Pattavai Sreni was originally from Lord Pradesh, that is Northern Gujarat.
Yeah.
They migrated to Mandsaur. They are mentioning about the Lord Pradesh. You see the reference of that.
Yeah,
see anything. See, there is mention of Lord Pradesh about the beautifulness of the Lord Pradesh.
They are migrating from Lord to Mandsaur and just doing business and started they just supporting the sun worshipping.
You have no knowledge of the description. Don't talk about that. They are mentioning go to the third stage of the description. They are mentioning about the Lord Pradesh.
I am saying that they are Lord Pradesh, but they are not saying that they are going to worship Buddha. They are worshipping the sun worshipping.
What I am saying, you couldn't understand. Why
presenting the sites of Buddha?
Why giving the description of Lord Pradesh? They are giving that it is full of flower trees and
Dear friends, you run out of your time. Next question, please. Gentlemen over there.
There are so many references of Haryana also. He is saying there were no references. He is for the sake of saying.
Go through the inscription.
I have not gone through the inscription.
You can carry on during the tea time, please. The next question.
First, I want to sort out this problem. This Pattavai Sreni was originally from Lord Pradesh.
Yes, I accept this.
They migrated from Lord Pradesh to Gaspur.
Yes, I accept this.
In the description, you go to the third stanza, there is description of Lord Pradesh.
I accept this.
Thank you very much.
In there,
it's true. It's true.
In there, the Lord Pradesh is mentioned with caves, with Buddhist caves. We are. What I have mentioned this.
Peace. Buddha taught peace.
The next question, the gentleman to the left.
Everyone may be reminded of that.
Let's take for Gandhi and the influence of Gandhi's life. Influence of Gandhi's life we see when we go to Jalaj and all area of the site. More of I think that because there is also Satranji. So just how you see that I think Gandhi's life will have more impact so far the traces he had started wearing of the Jainis. That's why.
Because of non-violence and different. I put this from bias.
Thank you very much. Is there a third question?